Hello, welcome back to Two Nigerian Women. My name is Ibukun.
Hi, my name is Abidemi and welcome.
Welcome, welcome. Today it's a long title, so wait for it. We're talking about what we wish we could tell our 19-year-old selves today. So, I think I've mentioned we're a bit on the older side. So, to my dear
Are we?
sisters,
Are we? Are
we are.
we?
We are.
No, I don't think so. I think you're only as old as you feel. And remember, when our parents were 40s, felt like so old. And now I look at
Mhm.
myself, feel I don't, maybe because I have young kids, I still see myself as pretty young. So I
Mm.
don't think about being on the high side or whatever it is. I just feel people that are 50, even people that are 50 do not even feel old. So I'm
I
just
guess
gonna,
I know I'm not old. I am
yeah,
42 and I have no issues stating boldly in the year 2023 that I'm 42. So we
yeah,
are, if you will, on the younger side of middle age, if you will.
yeah.
But in that sense, 19 years old was at least 21 years ago.
Yeah.
It's a long time ago. But yes, let's start off with where were you at 19, Sissy? What were you doing at 19?
I just started uni January 2021 because I turned 20 in September. So I just started uni. I was in a new university, a private university,
Mm,
and that was not my idea of going to university. I wanted independence, and it looked like I went from being not independent to continuing being not independent. So I didn't
mm,
really like it. Found it
mm-hmm,
very hard to settle, and I found it actually very hard to embrace the fact that I was a university. I still felt like
mm,
I wasn't. I was in boarding school. So when you look at it now, I wish I had allowed myself to enjoy those moments. I was away
mm,
from home. It's an hour or two away from home. We're independent, though we were not on the we're not independent in the sense that it was a gated community, so many things, and there was a lot
mm.
of restrictions. It was a religious university, so you had to adhere by certain rules to come to the school,
Ah,
and
okay.
you won't want anything that's going to embarrass your parents. So you
Mm,
did everything you needed to do. But then again, we were because I went in as a pre-degree student, so we were I think maybe we're about 80 in the whole for pre-degree, and then the 100 the first year, and the first year had gone on holiday, and the second year had gone on holiday. We're back in school, so we're because they were only 2 years. So we're in school with the second year, and then we the pre-degree were in school. So we got to know the people that were going to second year, which was like the senior of the school because it was a fairly new school. It just started in '99.
oh wow.
So I wish I allowed myself to enjoy just being in school and not actually bothering what people say. Because I think I allowed what people thought and said about me impact my general well being. And I carried unnecessary baggage that I didn't need to carry. And
Okay.
I wish someone had told me not, but you do or you don't, you do your damn, you don't do your damn, just do you.
Mm, mm,
Whatever you do, just be true to yourself and stay on the course. Yes, you're there to study, but whatever anybody says about you, even your own mates, is irrelevant in the sense that they are what they don't make you. You should know yourself. And
mm,
I think I only finally found myself when I was in my final year. I
mm,
began
mm,
to realize who I was as a young lady, as an individual going into the job market, leaving university. I began to own that independence. But prior to that time, I was president of my department for 2 years, and I
mm,
led the department for international relations for 2 years, and I did that for 2 years, and I did it really well. And if I didn't have what it takes, I would not have been because we had an
mm,
election and I was actually elected. So when you look at it, I wish I took my time to get to know me, enjoy those moments, not worrying about what people felt, thought. And I was very brainy, but a lot of the
mm,
time I allowed whatever distraction I was going on get in the way, and I shouldn't have.
mm.
I should
Mm.
have handled that better.
Better.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah. In terms of how I carry myself, these were things that I had to learn on my own. Um, Not necessarily someone telling me, but trying to find me. I remember as a young girl, I'll stare into the mirror and I'll call my name so many times that your name is Abidemi. This is you. You are Abidemi. And it felt strange watching myself say calling my name out and
Mm.
saying that to myself. And now when I look back, I was actually affirming who I was and I didn't realize. But it was
Wow.
something just looking into the mirror and saying, your name is Abidemi, and I'll laugh and I'll smile and say, I'm Abidemi, and that's my name.
Mm.
And I'll look and look and look and stare into my eyes. Our eyes are staring back at me. And I did a stare contest for however long it took, but with just me and the mirror doing that. I haven't done that in recent years in a very long time because for me, it felt like it was childish, but there was nothing childish about affirming yourself. Affirming yourself, knowing who you are, calling yourself out, calling whatever greatness that's inside of you,
Mm.
whatever encompasses you
Mm.
as the person Abidemi. And I didn't know that that's what I was doing. Nobody told me. It was just something that I was shocked that you you're here and you're looking at yourself and that's your name. Like that's
Mm.
you. It used to I want to use the word trip, but it used to trip me a lot that I'll say that to myself and I'll be shocked that this is who you are. And I haven't
Mm.
done that in a while, and I think I need to start. I won't say anything else, but I'll just say you are Abidemi. You are Abidemi.
Mm.
And I didn't know what it was. But
Wow.
also there was a lot of I actually didn't trust people, so I wasn't bothered. It wasn't There was not trust. Whatever. I didn't trust you. Yes, I was cool with you, but I didn't need to trust you. So you couldn't let me down in the sense trusting you. You couldn't let me
Mhm.
down. It was something I knew about, so I wasn't bothered about people letting down my trust or betraying me. It wasn't a thing. I
Mm.
think I
Mm.
became very insular into myself, enjoyed my own company, and enjoyed doing me, however senseless it might be. I did me as a
Mhm.
person, but I was more assertive in putting my feet down about so many things, putting boundaries. I didn't do a lot of boundary
Mm.
setting because I didn't want to offend people, even though
Mhm.
people took joy in offending me. And I think also because I didn't go to a boarding school, I think that was hard. If I had gone to I started in a boarding school, but I didn't finish. So I left
Mm.
when I was in church too. So I was about 10 when I left boarding school, or
Mm.
almost 11. If I had stayed in boarding school, I probably would have had a little bit more self consciousness and been able to set boundaries, but I wasn't able to.
Mm.
So when I went to university, that was really hard in setting boundaries and allowed a lot of people get away with stuff and walk all over me. And now when I look back, I should have be more assertive. And if I'm not going to
Mm.
do that, I have no right to do that to me, no matter what. And I'm glad
Mm.
that that's what I'm teaching my kids. You need to, your yes, your yes, your no, is your no. Nobody influenced me to do anything rubbish. That's one thing that I don't know whether it was the fear of God or just fear of my parents. I didn't join a lot of people to do a lot of teenage exuberant things. Like all I was
Mm.
interested in was just me, it was just boys. I like boys. That was it. There wasn't anything untoward or extra that I was getting myself in trouble with or leaving school and going somewhere. No, I never did. If I left school, uni, I went home. I didn't go
Mm.
anywhere else. I'm not
Mm.
knocking anybody because some people, that was the whole aim of their university life and they look back on that with fond memories. Hey, that's you. It wasn't for me. So it wasn't something that I did. But
Mm.
also, I really wish I wasn't so hard on myself in the sense that I should allow myself to live a little. I didn't do
Mm.
that. I was too serious when I look at it. I was too
Mm.
serious in secondary school and I was too serious in university. And I wish I wasn't as serious in the sense that just take a lot of things as life and not
Mm. Mm.
hold it too much to your chest and be. There's time for you to be serious. Like now, I can't afford to mess around. I have to be serious. But as a teenager, as a young adult, as a
Mm.
young child, life doesn't have to be that serious. There's plenty of time for you to wear the toga of seriousness. So,
Mhm.
in the nutshell, if I remember anything, I will tell you. But I wish I was able to advise myself to be better, to enjoy life, take one step at a time, not to be too hard on myself, set boundaries, not close people off, not
Mm.
ostracize myself from a lot of people, but enjoy those
Mm.
moments in who I am and enjoy being 19.
Mm.
I enjoyed being 19 without making it like it was me against the world. There was a lot of that. I was serious. I was too serious. Yeah.
Teenage angst. But you see, 19 is such a pivotal age because it's literally the last teenage year.
Yeah.
And a lot of people at that age are just like you and myself back then, are
Mm.
just going into university or have just gotten into university or have been in university for a year. And there's something that happens when you change seasons educationally as well, where you've been in a situation, which is secondary school before university, where you're
Yeah.
being told what to do. But in university, you actually own whether or not you do it. So you will still be told what to do, but you decide whether or not to do it. You're
Mm.
more independent in that sense. Most of the time, you're not living at home, and you need to sort out yourself in terms of your living situation,
Mm.
cook for yourself, cater for yourself, full stop. You
Mm.
become, it's your first proper taste for most people of independence. So for me, that year was pivotal, that year that I turned 19, because it was the year 2000 as well, right? And people who remember the year 2000, a lot of nonsense happened. 9/11 happened. And, oh, as most people who have lived through that, you remember exactly where you were. And 19 was the year I almost got fired from a job. And I was working that job when 9/11 happened. I didn't get fired. I was working that job. And for me, 19 was when I got a jolt of life is so precious because of that particular incident. And I had just gotten into university. I was feeling myself in terms of see what I achieved. I got into university for a very intense degree at a really good university. And I felt a certain sense of pride in my own accomplishment. What I wish I could have told myself back then was it was a tip of the iceberg in terms of what exactly I was meant to be in life, because it was the be all end all. I was like, yes, I have arrived. This is what I'm now going to be. I'm going to go to university, get this degree, and start earning the shmoney. You understand? And knowing what I know now, back then, it was a good experience for me, socially, academically. But I wish I could have told myself, explore a bit more, learn other things. I was one of those people and still am where I like to stretch myself, because I don't know if I ever told my mother this. So mommy, sorry if I didn't tell you this and you're listening to me say it to the world. I went to join the Royal Naval Reserve in university. So at Freshers Fair in the UK, different groups of people come to exhibit and encourage you to sign up to something, use their service or buy their product. And the Navy was there. And I decided with my yes, I can do anything attitude to go and join the Navy. Your friend could not swim, sissy. I had no clue what I was doing.
You should have joined the Air Force. That would have been better suited.
No, you see, I was self aware enough to know I did not want anything with heights. But I thought water is fine. It's not like being in the Navy means you're in the water. So I joined the Navy. They were very kind. They gave me all these are the potential situations, because if you remember, back then was when the world has always been in a very shaky position, but back then was when we were not sure if it was the beginning of World War 3, with weapons of mass destruction and everything and so on and so forth going on. And they were saying if there was a war and the Navy was called up, being in the Royal Naval Reserve could imply you could also be called up as well. I still signed the paper. I was, I was like, come on, what do you mean? There shall be no war. I declare there shall be no war. Anyways, that's a story for another. But that's how I ended up in the Navy. So I was very gung ho. Let us do this. Look, I am now free to make my own decisions. I made some bad decisions, I must tell you. I decided to, like I said, sign up to the Navy without telling my parents what I had done. I had also decided, in terms of friendships, I was not going to suffer fools gladly. So there are some people I intentionally was decided not to be friends with because I did not think much of them. So I was extremely judgmental in terms of my assessment of people. And for me,
Mm.
judgment means condemnation. So not being able to tell, discern, but to judge in terms to condemn, as in, we're not on the same level. So I wish I could tell my 19-year-old self everyone is on the same level because we
Mm.
are all the same in terms of the way God looks at us. What
Yeah.
differentiates us is if we decide to believe in God and then walk that path. That is the main differentiation for me in life. That's the main differentiate now. But I wish I knew that back then because I think I would have made more enriched friendships. Am I using the right words here? I think I would have explored more. I was very I was very protective of my own self because I something switched when I went to university where I realized I am responsible for me. No one else is. So the decisions I make is are what will keep me safe. So I had that self-preserving aspect to me as well, which I think hindered me in some situations. But yeah, 19 was such a it was an intense age for me. It was quite intense. A lot happened in that year. Well, could I ask you about in terms of what you wish you would have said to yourself? Do you think you saying it to yourself at 19, would you have listened?
If I had a glimpse of the future and knew how my life was going to turn out, how it is now, I probably would have because a lot of things that I stressed myself over, there was no reason to. And I remember my mom always telling us that things will get better. However, if it's when it comes to grades, when it comes to the way people saw us or neighbors, because we had some horrid neighbors at some point in our lives, or
Mm,
it's in terms of just generally how we as a family move together. If I I wish I'd listened to her more, not worry so much. Because when you look at it, the most trivial things that you were worrying yourself about, and then when you look back at it now, why was I stressing myself about this?
mm, mm,
So what? You did the exam and you didn't pass. So what? Did it impact your life as an adult? Does it make you feel less of a human as you are? Or oh, somebody didn't consider me worthy of being in this particular position, so everything about me is just wrong. I wish I
mm,
didn't allow those kind of things get to me. And it's also having a conscious effort to walk in that awareness that just because things don't work out the way we expect them to work out doesn't mean they're not going to work out one way or the other. And God has our destiny in his hands and he's in control. So 10 years down the line that we can't see, he's already been there, done that, got the t-shirt. He knows what's going to happen. And we stressing about the things that we have no control over. It's not going to actually help us any. It's not going to help us feel any better. So I wish I didn't worry too much about the future. Because
mm,
so what? I remember when my son was going to secondary school, there was a whole hoo-ha in school, and everybody wanted to know what everyone was getting, everyone was doing. And I
mm,
just felt that what I wanted for my child, it didn't look like it was coming together. And it
mm,
really
mm.
bothered me. But God made a way. And now when I look back, he's already gone ahead of us and sorted us
So
out.
why were you
So we
worried?
see
Mm,
the big picture. We are seeing it from one angle, whereas he's seeing it from the zoomed out focus. There was no reason for us to stress as parents. There was no reason for me to stress as an individual, as a young lady. There was no
mm,
need. Yes, I agree with you on the sense of judgment. I was very judgmental as well. I didn't feel I find a lot of people worthy of me being friends with. I felt I was better, and our goals did not align. And I wish I
mm,
didn't
mm.
put a lot of people in boxes like that and allowed people to be themselves. Because now, as an adult, I allow certain people to be themselves. I might not agree with them 101% because their own goals and their own achievement is not mine, but that doesn't mean that they're not good people all in all.
I
So
get
you have
you.
situations like that. And then when I look back, how many friends I count myself and I said, oh, well, in university, I don't really think I had any friends. I had people, I was friends with everyone and no one
Mm,
in particular. I can't call anybody my really close friend from university. I had
mm,
one and she left after our second year and moved to the UK. And I'm still pretty much in touch with her. And that's the only person that I see as my friend generally that's very close friend, but I had
mm,
acquaintances, had people that if I was walking to school, I could walk with them, or we were having a lecture, I'll sit around them. I didn't feel any loyalty to any set of groups, so I was a lone ranger. I enjoyed my own
mm,
company and I enjoyed being me, and I wish I allowed people to express themselves, and also because I have a lot of love to give, I just didn't give
mm.
any. I allowed a lot of people to show me love, and I showed a lot of people love besides the boys though. But yeah, I wish I allowed myself. I wish I allowed people to know me as
Yeah.
friends. And I had seasons, maybe for 2 weeks I'll be close to somebody else, I'll be just talking, and then kind of like fizzle out and move on to the next. So
Mm, mm.
yeah, you have like that. And then when you look back now, how many of them actually are you still in touch with? I'm not in touch with a lot of them. In fact, I refuse to join. I'm not even on any group. Even my secondary
Mm.
school, I used to be part of the secondary school group, and I left because of something that was done, and I just refused to go back. And I keep telling everyone, see, we'll have a reunion at the feet of Jesus. I will be there. If you're not going to be there, that's fine. We'll meet at Jesus'
Need
feet.
to feel
That's what I
them.
will tell everyone. So I have the people that are my friends that I keep in touch with outside of the group. And I feel that that's meaningful because I've had enough time to invest in, because you can also get bogged down that you think you're close to everyone in the group, whereas you're not. Because when you go through challenges or when you are in your alone phase, how many people actually reach out to you? Do you understand?
Not so
So I
long.
have people,
Yeah.
my friends, that are my people that reach out to me, and we have a relationship outside of that group. That's secondary school. So I'm glad about that, and I don't need to stress. But for university, not really in touch with anyone. Funny enough, that happened. University happened a couple of years as compared to secondary school, but I'm not in touch
Mm,
with hi, hello here and there, but I'm not really close to anybody. I can't say anybody's from my university that I'm close to, and I maintain those relationships. So I think that I just didn't give, and I didn't allow anybody give me any love because I just felt, I don't know if I felt I was unworthy or I felt I was better. I think it was a
mm,
little bit of both. It depends on who I was looking at what perspective.
mhm,
But actually could not wait to shake off the toga of university, throw it all behind me and move on. I wasn't interested because I just felt I was stifled in that environment and there was no reason whatsoever to be there. And yes, it was a necessity because we had to go to university. So I did that. But left
mm,
to me, yeah, I just couldn't wait to leave. So I was counting down. In fact, I counted down the whole years of being besides my holidays, counting down.
mhm,
I said I'll be in for 2.5 years consistently. Removed the holiday. It was supposed to be a 4 year course, and we had
mm.
4 months holiday every year. So I removed the 4 months. I said I'll be here for 2.5 years. So I always counted down till the end. I just
Mm.
could not stand it. And we
You
used to
were not
make a lot
happy
of
with
trips.
me.
Yeah, we used to make a lot of
Mm,
trips outside school. So I looked
mm,
forward to those trips.
mm,
So we went to Nambra, went to Ghana, went to Benin. So all those little things were things that gave me some kind of solace or solitude and helped me plow through. And I
mm,
really focused, put my head down, and I did exceptionally well. Even when I wasn't reading,
mhm,
I remembered I had a very retentive memory. I have a very retentive memory. So it wasn't hard for me to do well in my
mm.
courses, but I just could not wait to leave. So yeah. I
Could
wish I
I?
allowed myself to enjoy being in university actually, and not take life too serious. I was too serious for my own good. Oh my goodness! And I
But
begged my
Sissy, you
child
just
every
said,
day.
you
Yeah, but
said,
I
you
beg my
said,
child every day not to be that way. Life is not that serious. And I was talking yesterday. I was talking with somebody, and I just said, "Yeah, my friends, some of my friends that I have now, they do things that
mm,
I don't do. But is that going to make me say, oh, I don't want to be your friend anymore? Nah, because
mm,
whatever
no,
they do is their prerogative. It has nothing to do with me. But as individuals, I love them, I adore them. They are my people, and that's
mm,
fine. So
mm.
I think
Okay,
we also have to allow people to be themselves, because we don't, just because
that's
someone is my
true.
friend doesn't mean I have to embrace everything. I can embrace them
Mhm.
as individuals, but I don't have to like certain attributes or character traits that they exhibit, but still allow them time to thrive, to grow, and enjoy being themselves
Mhm.
without without trying to control them or tell them how they should live their lives.
How to
And I
live their life.
felt
Yeah, there was
time
a
that,
bit of that with me too. Yeah.
yes, I felt that friendship, we had to be in
Mm,
sync. It's a lie.
mm,
Now, when I look back, I wish I didn't see people as them. Like, we have everything has to be in unison, or else we're not friends. So
mm, mm,
I made the criteria for friendship really tough. There was no need for that.
mm, mm. Could I say something though? Because when I asked you if you would have listened to yourself,
Mm.
if your future self then came, you said you probably wouldn't, right?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of us are that way. We like to experience our own selves. We don't like secondhand experiences because
Mm.
there is something we tell ourselves, that was you, this is me, and I am different to you, and therefore things would happen differently for me.
Mm.
And
Mm.
I think that's something I wish I could tell my 19-year-old self. There is nothing that unique about you, not because you are run of the mill, but there are certain things that are constant in life. And that is as simple as you will reap what you sow. So in each season, there is someone who has gone ahead of you that has sowed some of the seeds you are sowing at that point in time. It
Mm.
is worth listening to them. It is so worth listening to them, because what I have found is there are some people who, not that they want to give me advice as such, well, they don't position it that way when they're talking to me. What they do is they highlight certain things they experienced in the season that I'm in, and sometimes I listen and sometimes I don't. And I find myself, so I'm saying this to my 19-year-old self, if you will, or someone who is 19 out there listening to this. I find that when I do not listen, in terms of just consider what they're saying, not necessarily follow the path they did, but just even consider what they're saying, I actually find myself repeating their experience. So let me give you an example. Me saying to my 19-year-old self right now, don't be judgmental in your friendships because you would miss out on some good friends. And me saying, yeah, I'm not that judgmental. I'm doing it to self protect myself. I
Self
am.
preservation.
Exactly, self preservation. I am being judgmental, but I've given an excuse in terms of, oh, no, 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 my own is different from yours. You did yours, your time has passed, and as a result, you can't redo, you can't have a do over. But I am in the season now. I will do what you did, but I will still get a different outcome. That's foolhardy. You do not plant an apple seed and say I will get an orange because I'm different. Come on, that doesn't work. It would never work. You need to understand someone sharing their experience with you and sharing what they did and the results they got from that experience is highly likely to be replicated with you if you did exactly the same thing. That's all I'm going to say. I have
Yeah.
learned over the years when someone shares their season with me to listen and to be very mindful of what I am doing that is a reflection of what they did, and not then say, yes, but my own results will be different. I always now, well, let me, my husband might say, you still don't listen. But more often than not, I double check what I am doing. And if it is similar to what they're doing, I then ask the Holy Spirit, should I still continue doing this or not? Or should I cover? Cover means should I gain sense and now change my
Mm.
ways? Because they are sharing from experience. And like they say, experience is a teacher of fools. I
Yep.
don't need to now replicate that experience in a gung ho I am different kind of way. and think I'll get a different result. So that is how I would like for us to, if you will, Sissy, with the last word from you, conclude this episode on what I wish I would say to my 19-year-old self today.
Well, I have a list of things that I need us, like just pointers, because we said a lot, and
Yes,
just to
please.
draw from everything that we said. So, number
Mm,
one, for me, not to worry about the future. The future will take care of itself. And
mm-hmm,
try as much as you can not to be part of a big group of friends. I think a lot of the times we get lost, and not all of us, or not all our goals will align. Sometimes you
mm,
need to
mm,
just look for that, just that one friend is enough. You don't have to
mm,
have millions of friends. Don't give up. If anyone is affecting your peace of mind, or even making you see yourself less as how you see yourself, you need to give that person space. You
mm-hmm,
don't like something, not I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about a job. If you don't like, sorry, I'm not talking about like a goal. If you don't like a job, leave it. You don't have to continue the job. Anything that's robbing you of your peace of mind, sometimes you need to take a step back. And also make careful every time. I don't want you as a 19-year-old to go over analytical about everything, but sometimes remove yourself from a situation and try to analyze what you can learn. Am I learning? Am I gaining? Am I going to gain from this? Is this doing me any good or making me feel worse?
mm,
Sometimes we need to go into ourselves and ask ourselves these questions before we can move on to the next. And sometimes don't dwell on the past. You need to leave some things behind. They're not important. If they were important, you will have them in front of you. And then we have an adage in Africa that says, it's not every dog that barks that you pick up stones. You never get to your destination. Sometimes while they're
mm,
barking, you just go ahead and do what you need to do.
mm-hmm,
Don't be afraid. Do not be afraid of the future. Do not be afraid of what has happened, what is going to happen. Because as a Christian, for me, God has already gone ahead to make crooked paths straight. Even if they are not straight, they are crooked. He will walk you through it. If He has brought you to it, He will walk you through it. Do
mm,
not be afraid.
mm,
Try and maintain friendships. Some friendships are meant to go on for a very long time, and some are only for a season. And
mm,
recognize that then it is what it is, and let it
yeah,
go if you need to let it go. Because sometimes we
mm-hmm,
find ourselves, and that's why I have a problem to a certain extent with Facebook. I had to leave Facebook because I was keeping a lot of people that didn't deserve to actually have a glimpse into my life, have
mm,
access, and I didn't want that.
mm,
I feel, maybe I just feel too good for Facebook. Maybe that's it. That is it.
mm,
I just thought I was connecting myself with people that I didn't need to connect myself with. And sometimes some people need to stay where they are in the past.
mm-hmm, yep,
No need. Um, what else? Try and see the world more. Unfortunately, in Nigeria, there's not a lot of option for that because it's not really safe. But if you're anywhere else, travel, get to know people, get to know cultures, get to know, broaden your horizon. It's not every time you
mm,
have to watch a movie or have fun. Grab a book. Look at your dictionary. I have a big dictionary right here with me. Go through your dictionary, read up on stuff. Sometimes I
mm,
see a name somewhere. I'm passing a plaque somewhere. I read about this person. Educate yourself. It's not
mm-hmm,
every education in the classroom. Some you will get
no,
around and looking around you. There's
mm-hmm,
that as well. Go out more if you can, and don't let whatever has happened, like your failure, stop you from going ahead. Let it instead motivate you to be a better person, to be a better you. And yes, we all make mistakes. You are human. Remember that. You are a human being. You will make mistakes. That is totally normal. But it's for you to embrace what you need to embrace from that experience and learn from it. Not dwell on it, learn from it.
learn from
That's
it.
then, like I said, read, and comparison is a thief of time. Don't compare yourself to other people. You are uniquely you. You are your own person. You don't need to look at anybody else. Our own work, even twins have different paths that they go. So you don't have to look at anybody else. You don't have to follow anybody else. You don't have to be anybody else. Just be your authentic self. That is very important. Listen more, less talk, and learn to listen more. Get to know people. Sometimes people just want a listening ear. Someone just sit down there. I hear you. I remember. That's one
Mm,
thing that I used to take for granted. A lot of people will tell me, "Oh, you remember a lot of things." I didn't remember what I told them about myself, but I remember because I make a genuine effort to remember these things. Because if it's important to you, you mentioned it, it is important, and I take it on board.
mm,
So yeah, and yeah, spend time living in the moment. I think that's the
mm,
most important thing. Joy, like I
agree.
said, I wish I enjoyed. a 19-year-old in that moment and enjoyed it. I didn't. I was always, I can't wait. I can't wait. I can't wait. You can
Mm.
wait. Enjoy the moment while you can. So yeah, I think that's the long and short of it. I just try to bring a few points without going overboard. But yes.
And thank you for summarizing that. And we do hope sincerely this helps someone listening, not just in 19, but any age. I think those are timeless truths for any season of life. And we
Hmm.
really hope you've enjoyed this podcast. So please follow us on whatever platform you're listening to. Subscribe where you can. Put things in the comments for consideration. We are happy to talk about a lot of things. There are some boundaries we have in terms of things we will talk about. But
Yeah.
please suggest any topics you would like us to talk through. And we look forward to you joining us on the next podcast. Bye
Yeah.
bye.
Bye.